All right, infographics. Let's talk about infographics. I think I put off this video long enough. I'm not a big fan of infographics, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, but I have to talk about infographics in this module because a lot of people are still using infographics and they're getting links from it. It's just a skill set that I have never really had a lot of success with, and I'll kind of tell you what I ran into and what you could do to overcome that, and you could decide for yourself whether or not infographics is going to be the way for you to go to get links. First of all, you should know ahead of time, unless you have a time machine and you can go back another 7 years ago or so, using infographics is tough sledding. It's why is it tough sledding? Well, they're kind of hard to make for one, and they're kind of hard to pull the data for another, and to make them look good and to have the right data. And it's tough sledding, and it's overdone to the max. I mean, everybody talks about doing infographics, and it's to me it's just an old tradition. It's like 4 years old or so, 5 years old, but it's just got overplayed because a lot of people got together and they think, well, I can make graphics, so therefore I'm going to make it an infographics. And what they basically did was they combined articles with graphics and they turned them into quote unquote infographics. Now, if you look at what a real infographic is, it shares data. I mean, it's an infographic is meant to help you understand data. At least that's the way it used to be. Now infographics are more about getting links, right, than sharing data. So people started creating articles that they always wrote, and then like for article marketing, and then they started combining them with graphics, and they called them infographics. Probably the best training that you'll ever find on infographics is Eric Ward's infographic on infographics, and I got the link there, and you can download the mind map. And let me show you this thing. I mean, it's just unbelievably powerful in how what he taught, the late great Link Moses, and how to create infographics. So here's the one infographic he ever created, and thankfully it was an infographic about how to build links using infographics. And he put a lot of research into this. His whole career was about link building, and after exhaustive research, this is what he came up with. Step 1, he says, create the infographic. Step 2, get other sites to link to it. This step is really important. Whoa, you're done. Wait a minute, Eric. 2 steps. Post is brilliant. No, you're not going to learn anything about infographics, but Eric wanted to have an infographic, and darn it, he got an infographic by making fun of other infographics. No, there's better ways to make infographic than I have better advice than that. That was just for fun. All right, so that was Eric Ward. Somebody else that you could really get into is Brian Dean. And you can get really good information from him. Let me pull up his page. He has something called a gestographic tactic. Basically, what you do is you reach out to your link prospects to let them know if they're willing to place your infographic on their site, that you'll write a unique 300-word introduction for the infographic. So basically, it's a guest post that you're sharing your graphic. That's why Brian Dean calls it the gestographic tactic. You can find out more about that tactic here at Backlinkos, how to get backlinks. And let me see if I can find it. That's this one right here. And when you pull up the site, this is what you'll get. Brian will teach you everything you need to know about how to use a gestographic. I have used this tactic, and we featured it extensively. We put probably 30 man-hours into it, and we didn't get a single link. So there's that. Or did we get one, I think. I just think that I think when Brian Dean releases a new tactic publicly, that so many people jump on board to use it, and it just creates a huge flux of all the link prospects receiving the same offers, and then it gets flooded, and then it doesn't work anymore. So yeah, we tried this and it didn't work, but that doesn't mean you can't get it to work. It doesn't mean that at all, because I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy who refuses to quit, and I got people working from the agency who refuse to quit too. So if you want to earn the links using infographics, and maybe it's Brian Dean's gestographic tactic, by all means, go for it. Don't let me rain on your parade. All right. Now, what we did find in our agency, the best chance of scoring links with infographics is just to find prospects who are already sharing infographics from other sites in your industry. If you find a website that is sharing a lot of different infographics and they're all from your industry, well, there's a really good chance you're going to be able to create an infographic for them and get them to post it. All right, so create the infographic. When you do that, make sure you create the infographic for their readers and not your own. That's something that a lot of people make the mistake when they get into infographics, is they're creating the infographic for their end user, their prospect, the people on their website reading their content. But really, this is really content for another for other sites, like a guest post is. And so you could treat your infographic as if it were a guest post, and then what you do is you just find prospects that are sharing those infographics, other infographics from other sites in your industry, and then what you do is create one, and then and kind of reaffirm their teachings on it. If it's a big site and you really would like them to post it, reaffirm them, maybe even mention them in it, and that'll give you your best results, is if you create it for their readers and then reaffirm the link prospects teachings in it, or mention them in it, and that'll probably give you the best bet of getting them to post it. But I don't want you to get discouraged because Matt doesn't sound like he's not too keen on doing infographics. You're right, I'm not. I'll probably never, ever create another infographic. And I paid a lot of money for in-house and outsourcing for infographics, and like I said, I'll never create another one. Now, if you want to have somebody else create the infographic for you, you have a lot of options. One is 99designs.com. What you can do is, and let's not lose this. All right, we're good. All right. What I like about 99 is that what you do is, and here's a page. So if you link to it from the mind map, you will right here. This page will come up. What I recommend you do is look more into it. But what happens is you tell them what you want in the infographic, and then you pay up front, and then there'll be a contest of all these different designers who are going to work to create those that infographic for you. And then you get to pick the one you like the best, and the one you like the best, that the person who created it, or the agency that creates it, wins the contest, and they get your money. So that would be if you're going to outsource it. If you don't know anybody, I would say do a contest, because then you'll have a far better chance of getting the type of infographic that is that's going to do a good job for you. There's other ways to get infographics, and Fiverr, believe it or not. You can get infographics on Fiverr. I'm sure they cost more than $5. But if you click this link on the mind map, it'll bring you up to their category page on infographics. I would say be very careful. I don't know, maybe you buy 10 of them and see which one does the best. I'm sure that they'll cost more than $5 though. So you may be better off just running the contest on 99 Designs. Whoop. And so that's one thing you could do, is just go to Fiverr, but if you go that route, please use caution. And there's also other vendors, Vengage.com, and also Infographic Designer Services, and their sites. Here's Vengage. Let me close it. I've got too many tabs open here. And here's the KillerInfographics.com. And you might want to hire them. I'm sure it'll be more costly, and they'll probably only give you one version. Oh, here's another one, infographic.designservices.com. That's the one I just mentioned. I haven't worked with these people. I have no idea what they charge, and I have no idea the quality of their content. I just did a Google search, and you could do the same thing. But I really recommend that if you're going to do an infographic and you're not going to do it yourself, go 99 Designs or some other design contest. You'll be far better off. The quality, because they know that if they create a poor infographic, they're not going to win the contest, and they're wasting their time, and they're not going to get any money. So usually you get the people putting really big effort into creating the infographics. Also, Fiverr gigs, they're just trying to get the $10, $5, and they're trying to get done and getting to the next gig. And so there's a big difference between the two. So it's better to go with a contest. Unless you got a big budget, then you can just go with one of these other people. Now, if you decide, regardless of what way you go, I recommend that you use NFL team colors. I'm always talking about NFL team colors. You click this link, Jim Nielsen Team Colors. It'll bring you to this page, which is one of my favorite pages in all of the internet. Find the NFL league, like right here. Then go and find a team, because all these teams have done a massive amount of research on colors. Why? Because they make money from selling jerseys and other types of gear like that. They make a lot of money that way. So if they have colors that aren't very pleasing to the eye, they're not going to sell very many jerseys, and they're not going to make that much money. And there's teams that, there's, like, for instance, one of my favorite football teams is the Miami Dolphins. And they became my favorite team in the 80s. And it was before a quarterback came by the name of Dan Marino, who was probably one of the best quarterbacks ever. But I liked the Dolphins after that. But I liked him even before Dan Marino came. And I was just a teen. But that was because of the colors. And colors have huge sway over people. So if you're going to use colors on your infographic, why not use the same colors that have been researched? Millions and millions of dollars have gone into this research. Use their colors. There's no trademark on these colors. And they're pleasing to the eye, and it gives you good color combinations too. And so if you can have, like, if you use the Tennessee Titans colors, you have 4 colors that you could use in that infographic, and tell your graphic designer to use these colors, and you're going to get a really attractive infographic, and the colors are going to go well with one another. So definitely use team colors, and also to create the embed code. Once you get the infographic back from your designer, or you create it, or whoever, then you have to upload it to your blog or your server, the website, just like you would any other image. And once you do, you go over to siegemedia.com, embed code generator, and that'll take you to this page. And it's really simple. At this point, what you do is you put your site name in, you put the URL for the post where the infographic's going to be, then you put in the image URL, then you can put in the name of the infographic as an image alt, and then put in the width of your image, and leave the height here, leave empty to keep proportion. Then all you do is you come and use this code right here, and you place your infographic on a post. Let me move this over. So you'll have your picture uploaded, then you'll put that picture in a post, that infographic, then you'll put this code underneath it. And what that'll do is it'll put this code here under your infographic, so people can just grab it and take it to their site and share the infographic really easy, like under 5 seconds. So you want to make sure you have your embed code generated, and this little free tool from Siege Media is a great tool for that. Otherwise, if you just post the infographic on your site and you don't have the embed code under it, people aren't going to be able to, they're not going to be able to share your infographic. So it's really important you get that code created right. And that's what you do to embed the code, and that's pretty much all I have for infographics. I am not a fan of doing infographic campaigns, like I said, but that doesn't mean that they don't work. It just means it's one area of expertise that I really worked at, that I never could really crack the nut to the point where it gave a good ROI. I've always lost money on infographic campaigns. So that's but don't let that scare you. There's lots of other types of campaigns I lost money on over the years, and then I learned how to do it, and then I didn't lose money anymore. But infographics, Go with it if you got a talented person, but make sure you have a good angle. Use the tips I gave you if as far as outreach. Find the sites in your industry that are posting infographics, and then reach out to them and create infographics based on their readers, and then you'll have a lot easier time getting those links. But that's my take on infographics. I hope you got some use out of it. I'll see you next video.